This truth should be heard and contemplated and established. You should be established in the truth. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Shravana means listening, hearing the truth. Manana means contemplating, thinking about it. Nididhyasana means establishing yourself on it. When you listen this truth from an enlightened being, very listening is enough. Understand? That very listening, that very understanding is enough. Because when he is talking, not only words are coming, your being also is receiving the strength. That's also receiving the strength from the core. Your heart is also receiving the confidence and courage. I am just now collecting the whole mind. I am just bringing the whole consciousness to a TPS where the initiation can start happening. See, if I am not talking, your mind will be just restless. What next? What next? What next? What is this? Why is he waiting? What for? And in a few seconds it will settle down. I am just waiting. That automatic program is going on. That automatic work is happening. Now the right word will come. You will be sitting, suddenly one word will hit you. One word will hit you and do the job. Because the concept which I am going to talk is not a big concept. You all have heard it. That's not a big thing. The words which is going to come out now will straight away touch the engrams which you brought with you. The unconscious will start melting. I have seen when people listen this truth, or when the fire one glimpse catches, literally they go out dancing. They become like a mad, jumping and dancing, singing, or they fall into deep depression also. Because whatever they thought as life is not there. See, in the projector, in front of the projector light, a slide is kept, a film is kept, and it's appearing in the screen. If you want to alter the image, if you are scratching the screen, will it help? All you need to do is a small job where? In the slide. Initiation is doing that job in the slide. You might have done so many meditations, so many programs, not only ours, so many different other brands also, or other groups also. Understand, first thing you need to understand is futility of techniques. once you understand the futility of techniques, you will go into the mind, the logic with which your mind is working. Then you will go into the truth with which your mind can take a quantum jump into your consciousness. Suddenly now you will see, even without me uttering too many words, you will start understanding the truths which I am expressing or the ideas which I am expressing. Now you will see, I don't need to use too many words. Just with one or two words, suddenly you will see. But the concept which I am trying to tell, truth which I am trying to tell is already conveyed to you. You feel? You understood. If this is happening, then your heart is in tune. Means the process is happening, not listening and talking. The process is happening. Futility of techniques. You might have done all kinds of programs. As I was telling you, single person tell you is regularly meditating. I always tell people, no intelligent person can do anything more than 21 days. If you do anything more than 21 days, it will be just dead, routine. It will not be alive. And you can't do also anything which is done more than 21 days regularly. Of course, you will not be able to do because you are intelligent. I know it. You are intelligent. I know it. People come and ask me, the energy darshan, the NSP, we felt so much, such a high energy, intense. But what happens after a week? What happens after a month? What happens after a week or month? You are back again to the square one. You feel as if so much has happened in you. You feel as if a big opening has happened. But after a month or so, you are again back to the same space, living the same life, or living in the same mood. What is happening? Why? Because every technique which you are trying to do, everything which you are trying to practice is nothing but keeping yourself constantly in one thought trend, which is impossible. Actually, which is impossible. Understand? Now we enter into the truth. You have two identities which you are carrying usually. One is the identity which you project to the outer world. Ahamkar, we call it. The identity related to the outer world. Always it will be more than what is. Sometimes, rarely it will be less than what is if you don't have the accounts. If you don't have the proper accounts of what you have, you may be not telling that. Otherwise, it will always be what is. Always be more than what you have. Understand? The other personality is the identity which you believe as you. Two identities. One is the identity which you show to the outer world as you. The other one is the identity which you believe as you in the inner world. The identity which you show to the outer world as you is called ahankar, which is more than what you are, which will always be more than what you are. And the identity which you are carrying in yourself and believing as you in your being, it is called mamaka, which will be again always less than what you are. You will be constantly suffering with guilt. Understand? Constantly suffering with the guilt, constantly fighting. One is projecting more than what you have, another one believing less than what you have. Your identity, your ego is nothing but the fight between these two. Your ego is nothing but the process which is happening between this ahankar and mamaka. That you constantly jumping between this outer world identity and the inner world identity is what we call as your life. Whatever you think as you is nothing but these two. Understand? Whatever you may think as your life, from the moment you started thinking, you became aware of yourself. From that moment to this moment, whatever you may call as your life, it is nothing but a fight between the outer world identity and the inner world identity. Can you say there was a single moment without that fight? You spent a single moment without that fight? No. It was a constant fighting. Truth is, you are beyond these both identities. If you are just the outer world identity, you can't feel connected to the inner world identity. If you are just the inner world identity, you can't feel connected to the outer world identity. If you are constantly able to move from this to that, that to this, it means what? You are beyond these two identities. Understand? If I can sit in this chair and that chair also means I am beyond these two chairs. Am I right? If I can't move out of this chair, then I become part of this. If I can go and sit there also, it means I am beyond these two chairs. By your very nature, by the nature of your being, the eternal truth is you are unclutched from both these identities already. You are unconnected and unclutched from both these identities already. You don't even have to suffer or struggle or to work to unclutch from these two identities. Understand? Now you are slowly entering into the truth. Listen every statement, every word, Because which word will hit you, where, you will not know. Just listen on every word so that the right word will hit you in the right place. And suddenly, you'll open your eyes. Whatever you carry as a life, as mind, as ego, as yourself, it is nothing but the fight between these two identities. But by your very nature, you are unclutched from these two identities. If you are connected, clutched to one identity, the other identity cannot come. Am I right? The very presence of the other identity happening in you says you are not clutched to any one of the identities. Understand? If the second thought is happening in you means the first thought has already disappeared. Am I right? Can second thought happen to you without first thought disappearing from your inner space? No. Can second thought happen to you without first thought disappearing from your inner space? No. It can't. The very presence of the second thought says, the first thought has been renounced. Whatever may be the first thought, whatever may be the quality of the first thought, whatever may be the like, whatever may be the greed, whatever may be the attachment you have with the first thought, the moment second thought happens, already your mind has renounced that first thought. You might have been greedy about having a particular car, but the moment you had the thought of drinking a cup of coffee, the thought about the car has disappeared. Am I right? Unless thought about the car disappears, you can't have the thought of having a cup of coffee. It means what? A cup of coffee can replace your greed about car. Same way your fear, understand? Inch by inch. Your fear about death can be replaced just by a thought of having a cup of tea. The moment you get a thought, let me have a cup of tea. What it means? The fear which was there earlier, fear of death, now it is replaced. For this moment, that thought is not there. Somebody came to me and said, Swamiji, I am suffering with fear. I am afraid any moment I will die. Please remove my fear. I told him, just have a cup of tea. Just have a cup of tea. He said, what? How can that remove my fear? I told him, first have a cup of tea. Alright, he will have. After that, he asked, what about my fear? I told him, when you had the thought, let me have a tea, have a cup of tea, did you have fear? No. It means your fear is worthy of only cup of tea. You cannot have two thoughts at a time, fortunately. Am I right? You cannot have two thoughts at a time. The moment you decide to have a cup of tea, you can't have fear of death. Then he asked, but it came back, what to do? Again I have a cup of tea. That's all. Again if it comes back, again have a cup of tea. Till your mind understands your fear is not worthy of even a cup of tea. See, if it is really problem, can it leave your mind? If your mind is able to drop it, means can it be a big problem, real problem? Understand, I am not playing with words, I am actually playing with you. If it is a really a big problem, can it leave your mind? If it leaves your mind, can it be a real problem? No. Then why are you catching it again and again and suffering with it? Continuously, every moment, by your very nature, you are unconnected and unclutched. Understand? By your very nature, you are unconnected, illogical, independent, irresponsible, unclutched thoughts. This is the mantra. By your very nature, you are unconnected, independent, illogical, irresponsible. Understand? No two thoughts are responsible for others. You can see in your life, if you observe, you may be going to see somebody who is supposed to be highly respected, who is supposed to be respected by you. Suddenly by seeing him, you will get some crooked thought, like disrespecting him. Or sometime where you are supposed to be in sadness, you are going to see some of the close relatives who is dead. But suddenly seeing his body, you will feel like laughing. You will feel like laughing. Your own close friend or a family person would have fallen and broken the leg. Instead of repenting or feeling sorry, you feel like you just cover your kerchief. So that people will not know whether you are laughing or crying. How many of you have experienced these kind of moments? Understand, it means what? No two thoughts are responsible for each other. Your thoughts are not responsible. You are not logical as you believe. That's the first thing you need to understand. Your desires are not consistent as you believe. Your personality does not exist consistently as you are trying to believe or trying to act, as you are trying to put up. First thing, understand, if you show to the public that you are a consistent person, perfectly alright. It's a show which you need to do for society, but do not believe you are not a consistent person. Now you will have 1,000 questions. If I am not consistent, how will I believe myself? You can believe yourself only if you realize the truth that you are not consistent. As long as you try to believe you are a consistent person, you will be constantly suffering with you. You will be constantly fighting with you. All your fight, which is happening from morning till night, is because you believe you are a consistent person. You do not have consistent identity in you. First, understand. If you understand You do not have a consistent identity. You have understood the truth. Truth is you are not truthful. You are not consistent. You cannot be logical. You cannot be responsible. You will not be connected. By the very nature, you are illogical, independent, irresponsible, unconnected and unclutched. More and more you try to connect, be responsible, consistent in the outer world and in the inner world, you create stress in you. The more you try to create a consistent personality in the outer world, you feel bored. The more you try to create the consistent personality in the inner world, you feel stressed. Why do you need vacation after every week? Why do you need weekend? Because 5 days you are torturing yourself to be a consistent personality. You are trying to put yourself into a mold. Why do you feel you are so stressed during and after meditation? If you look a little deep, you will be more stressed after meditation or trying to meditate. When you try, you will be more stressed, you will be more disturbed because you are trying to create a consistent personality in the inner world. Consistent personality in the inner world. Consistent personality in the outer world creates boredom. Consistent personality in the inner world creates stress.